Hey, Georgie. Welcome back to the Wasted Wagons podcast.
What the fuck? I like the aliens on South Park.
And we're going to do
You want to go to Maroni's?
top 5 Halloween/horror movies. So who wants to take us away, gentlemen?
I'll go ahead and get started. So this is actually going to be more. I'm going to try to run through it though to be more like a top 10. But so I got 5 honorable mentions. Actually, I just thought of.
I have a lot too, but don't feel bad.
So the first honorable mention I'm going to go with, and Todd and I have probably spouted off funny lines from this movie. The movie itself was actually not that great, but it scared the shit out of me as a kid because the villain per se in the movie is very creepy looking. I actually had a nightmare of him when I was younger that he lived in my father's bar, and for a while when it would get dark at the house, I'd be petrified to go back by his bar because I thought he lived there. But it's actually the movie Troll. It actually had Sonny Bono and Phil Fondacaro in it. Very low budget 80s horror movie, but very creepy looking guy. The troll's name was Turok. If you go Google him,
I should have did that one.
Creepy looking motherfucker. Movie wasn't necessarily great, but it definitely has some nostalgia there. Tied into the same line, second honorable mention also was a low budget horror movie from the 80s that probably also had Phil Fondacaro in it.
Fuck yes.
Very,
My list is going to be just the same as his.
A love letter too.
very very low budget horror movies again. And then this one actually had kind of a series of it, but I'm just going to single out one of them, and that was Ghoulies 2. So Ghoulies 1, 2, 3. I don't even know if they may have even had 4. But Ghoulies 2 was the best one of the Ghoulies series, and it was really the only one that I actually liked. So that would be second honorable mention. Third honorable mention, this one will probably also be on, the next two will probably also be on Todd's list, but this is going to be the remake of the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds. I thought that one was, as far as horror movies are
Just
concerned,
copy and paste mine.
as far
Is it
as
in a different order?
horror movies are concerned, it actually is pretty creepy, has a decent storyline to it. A lot of horror movies I get excited to see, and then they end up just kind of shitting the bed, like, walk away from it. They're like, God, why did I even waste time watching that? Amityville Horror was actually a really good one. Fourth honorable mention, again, I have no doubt in my mind Todd's going to have this somewhere on his list, but I'm going to go with the whole Puppet Master series. Particularly the second one and the fifth one were the best ones. But really neat movie, with the puppets killing people, coming to life. Very neat looking puppets. Todd's got a picture of it in the man cave, I think, somewhere. Yeah, it's over there. So he's got the puppet. That'll be my fourth honorable mention. Last honorable mention I'm going to go with is actually, we talked about the idea of throwing Gremlins in here and more of a comedy. This one kind of maybe fits that bill too. But it's Ghost is in the title, so it's going to be the original Ghostbusters. Throwing that as my last honorable mention. I don't think the second one was nearly as good. I don't think any of the remakes have been nearly as good. The original Ghostbusters was very awesome with the with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the bringing the Slimer into the movies.
Was it Spiegel?
And Zool.
Carpathian.
And Zool. So that would be my last honorable mention. Jumping into the top 5, I'm going to go with the combination of It 1 and It 2. And I'm more so talking about the remakes of It. The ones from the 80s were really, or 80s, early 90s were really good as well, but the remakes were better. I really like Skarsgård as Pennywise. So that's going to come in at number 5. Number 4, if you know me, you know that I love it was actually one of my first Halloween costumes as an adult, was dressing up as Billy from the Saw movies, the puppet from the Saw movies.
It's a good costume.
But I'm going to leave it as, instead of the whole, however many I think they have 8 or 9 Saw movies at this point, but
10.
10 or 10. So I'm just going to leave it at Saw 1 and Saw 2. Those are my favorite of the ones. So combo number 4 is Saw 1 and Saw 2.
10 was good though. That's the one that we just recently saw.
Saw X.
Oh no, that was you're right.
Spiral was considered 9. The one with Chris Rock and all that.
Spiral was good too.
That's why Saw X is considered the 10th one.
See, I think after like 5, they just stopped focusing on plot and they just started focusing about gore. So it's like you just watch a pendulum come down, the organ slapping against walls.
I mean, I'll save that for mine.
So the original first 2 were really good in my opinion. I actually probably like the second one even a little bit better than the first one. But just the idea of it and the games that the people have to play to try to save their lives, I thought that was a really, really cool concept. And again, I think the puppet looks really cool. Number 3, arguably 1, 2, and 3 can all be kind of almost lumped together as one, but they're going to get their separate categories here. But number 3, probably, maybe even my top 5, maybe even top 3 favorite movie character of all time is Kiefer Sutherland's David from Lost Boys. So Lost Boys is going to come in at number 3 for me. Really, really great movie.
I just thought about throwing that one on my list, but you can take that one.
I didn't even have that on there. But it's probably better than some of the ones I have on here.
Really great movie. Love Kiefer Sutherland. Well, actually, one of the first DVDs I ever bought. When we got a DVD player. Number 2, going back to my childhood, hands down a top 5 favorite movie of all time, along with number 1, both in the top 5 favorite movies of all time. But number 2 is going to be Monster Squad. Has brings back all the old school monsters of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein, and group of kids set out to kill all the monsters, except they kind of befriend Frankenstein. But really cool movie, almost kind of like a cousin to the Goonies, pretty much. And my number 1, we talked about favorite Christmas movies of all time. This one kind of crisscrosses both generations. Favorite Christmas movie of all time. It's also my favorite Halloween movie of all time. Nightmare Before Christmas. Love it. Got a tattoo of Jack Skellington. Will always be a top 5 movie overall for me. So,
all right, I'm just going to jump in after him because my picks are mostly the same. So I don't really want to spend too much time on them. Let's start with my first honorable mention. I'm going to go Ghoulies, particularly Ghoulies 2. Travis had already said that one. I like Ghoulies 2 a little bit better because they had the whole carnival theme to it, and they actually added the toad-looking ghoulie. He wasn't in the first one. I thought he was the coolest looking one. Second honorable mention is going to be Travis's number 1, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't love that movie as much as Travis does, but it is very, very good. I had the werewolf Funko Pop over there. I thought he was a really cool character. I think Tim Burton movies as a whole are usually pretty cool. I even thought the Sweeney Todd remake with Johnny Depp was also very good. So Nightmare Before Christmas, second honorable mention. Third honorable mention, Amityville Horror from 2005 with Ryan Reynolds. Again, kind of like what Travis said, most remakes suck. I thought that one was really good. The fact that Ryan Reynolds was shirtless in that movie and it's just such a dish.
Not an ounce of fat on it.
It doesn't hurt. But very good movie. I mean, as far as horror movies go, it's I thought it'd be an absolute atrocity, but went and saw it and was pleasantly surprised by Ryan Reynolds too. Second to last honorable mention would be Troll. Me and Travis loved that movie so much as a kid, we went and rented Troll 2. And if you've ever seen Troll 2, it has nothing in common with Troll 1. It's not even it's supposed to be a sequel, but the characters aren't the same. The storyline's not even remotely the same. It's terrible. But the first one, again, kind of piggybacking on what Travis said, that thing scared the shit out of us when we were kids. It's just this little short, fat, squatty, greasy-looking troll, and it makes the noises like, whoa, whoa. But for some reason, we both had nightmares where that son of a bitch was behind our bar in the back of the pool table. And one day, our sister actually, because I guess she knew that we had this dream, we had this pair of green hairy gloves in our house, and one day we were looking for my sister, we couldn't find her, and all of a sudden she pops out from behind, doesn't pop out, she raises her hands from the Honda Bar, and she got those fucking gloves on. She scared the shit out of us. But like Travis said, his son, Sonny Bono in it, Go Find the Carol in it. Really, really catchy cult 80s horror classic, Troll. And this wasn't my top 5 before Travis named one, but I'm going with the Child's Play series as my last honorable mention. I think my favorite of the bunch was either Child's Play 2 or both of those are really good. But Chucky is I one Funko Pop I don't have is of Chucky, but I want the one where his face is all stapled together, like what happened when they rebuilt them in Bride of Chucky. But the whole series is just very, very catchy and watchable, especially for horror movies. It's funny. Brad Dourif is a very, very talented actor. Aside from doing the voice of Chucky, he was great in Deadwood, which is a very, very underrated TV series. Okay, so now moving into my top 5. Number 5, going with Travis's number 3, The Lost Boys. Wasn't even thinking about that. It wasn't even on my radar until he mentioned it, but probably, I'm going to say, second best vampire movie of all time.
You still have that soundtrack we bought 2 years ago?
Yeah. Sounds very good soundtrack. The freaking vampires with the mullets, with Alex Winter and Kiefer Sutherland, man. Probably one of the best 80s movies out there. The Lost Boys.
Consider this Rob God. Corey Feldman.
Cry, little sister. I still believe.
Pretty much the other movie I know Jamie Gertz has been in besides Twister. It's Lost Boys. I can't name it.
She was also on that TV show with Mark Addy, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's still standing? Is that right?
Yeah, the poor man's John Goodman who played Fred Flintstone.
After
John Goodman.
You think that dude could really score Jamie Gertz in real life?
Hey, good. Kevin James, Squirrely Remedy, and King of Queens, but that's why we watch shows like that. It's a fantasy.
It gives us hope. All right, so moving on to number 4, also in Travis's, I don't know if it was, I guess it was probably an honorable mention, but number 4 is going to be It. And it's particularly the remake. I did like the original with Tim Curry as well, but I just thought the remake was phenomenal. Made the mistake of showing that to Camden, both It 1 and 2. We watched them, I think, back-to-back nights. Camden slept upstairs in the foyer because he was afraid to go in his room for probably a good month after watching it. I pulled my little Henry Bowers Funko Mystery Mini out. And I do have some I think 2 Pennywise Pops. I think Camden and Carson got me one, and a person we will not speak of got me the other. But I have 2 Pennywise Pops. It's just a great, if you haven't seen it, you should. Both the original, that was I think the original with Tim Curry started as it was like a TV movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was made for TV. Like it came on TV, I think. It wasn't.
Remake is great, and as Travis said, I love Bill Skarsgård. I think he's extremely talented, extremely underrated. He did a great job as Pennywise.
The original, it goes back to those double VHS boxes because it was so long. It was only 2 tapes.
Yeah,
I remember somebody having it. It was like you had to change tapes in the middle of the movie to watch the whole thing.
All right, so that's my number 4. And number 3, the number 1 vampire series. I would say series because it was, I don't know, 5 movies.
Yeah.
But really, the first 3 were the only ones that were really great, and it's Underworld.
There was 5 of those?
There's 5. The fourth
one was a prequel, I think.
The fourth one was atrocious. The third one was the prequel. The third one was good, though.
I've only seen the first 3.
The third one, Michael Sheen plays Lucian, the werewolf, and he's actually the main character in the third one. So the third one's really good. First 2 are also very good, but the 4th and 5th one you can kind of pass on it. The 5th one's a little bit better than the 4th one. The 4th one's almost unwatchable. But yeah, Kate Beckinsale, Michael Sheen, Scott Speedman, Travis's boy from Pirates, Bill Nighy.
Yeah. Mythbusters does that busting the myth about shooting the gun in a circle on the it's a cool episode.
I don't know if Travis has seen that series, but it's pretty incredible.
It's good.
It's good.
Certainly puts the pussy ass werewolves that are in Twilight, pussy ass werewolves and vampires in Twilight to shame. Underworld's number 3. And again, I was kind of, I asked you guys before I started making this list if this was really considered a horror movie or not, and Russell kind of convinced me that it was because it has vampires and werewolves in it. So, Underworld's number 3. Number 2 was on Travis's honorable mentions, and that's Puppet Master. Puppet Master, particularly 2 and 5, because it had my guy Torch in it. Number 2 was awesome because Torch was introduced. He's like a Nazi. He's like a Nazi soldier, basically. A Nazi soldier puppet, and he basically burns people,
Killing Nazis.
puts people on fire. Number 5 wasn't really necessarily. It wasn't scary on the part of the puppets. If you watched 1 through 4, 1 through 3, the puppets actually are killing people. Then in 4 and 5, they kind of turn good. But for some reason, Torch is completely left out of 4. Basically fighting alien puppets.
Don't touch his torch.
You undressing him? Patrick's undressing my doll over here.
What are you talking about?
No, it's just touching his crotch.
He's touching
Big
his torch.
Someone's better.
Yeah, weirdo. Don't make this weird.
Alright, so yeah, Puppet Master's number 2. And number 1, I don't know if this would be considered a horror movie or not, or a Halloween movie, but I should go grab my 6 different Patrick Bateman figures that I have. American Psycho is my favorite movie of all time. It's a brilliant movie. Obviously, you find out he's schizophrenic at the end, and he's got all these delusions, and it's never really happened. But I mean, throughout the whole movie, he's murdering people. So
You ruined it. Okay.
That's a spoiler alert.
who hasn't seen it here, man?
You mean like the movie Identity? Like we didn't know it was all in head the whole time?
So anyways, American Psycho, I have about at least 4 or 5 different Patrick Bateman figures in my man cave. Should have put one of them, at least one. It's a very, very brilliant movie. I was drawn to it the first time I saw it. A lot of killing in it. So I'd consider it a horror movie.
That would
Now I left
typically mean a horror movie.
Now I left Split off, and I don't know if you would consider Split a horror movie, a Halloween movie, but that's also a really good one.
Yes, James McAvoy.
Yeah,
It's more like a thriller.
Yeah.
But yes, I really like Split as well.
I gravitate more towards thriller. So I'll go next.
And M. Night Shyamalan movies normally suck, but that one is
that one's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, forget that was him.
So horror, not my thing whatsoever. So I'm gonna more so gravitate towards Halloween, or just movies you would want to watch during Halloween. But I definitely like thrillers a decent bit. And Split was a solid movie. So I only have 2 honorable mentions, and again, I'm leaning more towards into when you watch these movies. This first one is supposed to be a horror movie. It's called Maximum Overdrive. I don't know if anybody's heard or seen this movie. It is a C-rated movie. Like, it doesn't even qualify as B. It's real bad.
It's all
Yeah, it's like if
Minion.
Alien. I don't even remember if it's aliens or not, but they like an 18-wheeler gets taken over, and all the machines are trying to kill people. There's a specific scene where a Coke machine's spitting out Cokes at somebody. It's a wild movie. I watched it as a kid, and I still remember it to this day. It's fun, stupid, really bad
You
movie.
mean like the movie Monster Trucks? Where the
Yes.
trucks turn into actual
Yes.
monsters?
So in this movie, I forget what it looks like. If y'all are familiar with Dragon Ball Z, it reminds me of Piccolo. Is the way that the 18-wheeler looks, like the face of it's green.
But does the shitty Dragon Ball Z movie actually fall into your...
Well, we're not going to talk about that movie at all.
We're going to say a movie so bad it can count as a horror movie.
Yeah. My second honorable mention is Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love musicals. I watch a lot of musical type stuff.
But I'm going to pause you for a second, Russell, because Sean is usually the one who throws the Halloween party every year. And Sean will play horror/Halloween movies throughout the party. Most of us aren't really paying attention because we're getting sloshed drunk or playing beer pong or something like that. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is usually one of the movies.
It's a fantastic movie to have on the background.
It's got some of the songs off the soundtrack.
Time Warp,
Halloween mix.
great fucking song. Love that song. Yeah, I definitely wanted to throw those out there. They didn't make my top
Rocky,
5.
what a dish.
Starting with my number 5, I'm going to go with Zombieland.
No,
Definitely gonna go more
Oh,
of a
good.
comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy aspect in most of my movies, but that movie is not only hilarious, but like they shot it in Jazzland or Six Flags, whatever it was at the
Still
time.
haven't seen the second one.
I didn't even
Me
know
either.
they had a second one. But they
Yeah,
have
it's
some
Zombieland too.
they have some amazing moments with Bill Murray, and it's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. I love.
I use that gif all the time of him wiping his face with the money.
You got the cast is like oddly put together too. You got like Emma Stone and
Abigail
Woody
Breslin.
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. What's the chick's name? I mean, the main guy's name, Michael Cera, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird combination of people, but it works really well. So it's fun. It's a fun movie. Number 4 is going to be Evil Dead 3. So I've seen all the Evil Deads. The first 2 are legit horror movies, and the third one is just an absolute shit show that is making fun of itself.
I have something you might want. Then
What's that?
It's
Do you have a chainsaw that I can put on my
it's a
arm?
poster like that. Our friend Chris, he's the guy that drew our logo. But he drew the Deadpool one, and when I ordered it, he gave me like a free one with it, and it was
It was Evil Dead. Yeah, cool. It's such a shift in what the first 2 are. You have this first movie that's rated like
Jesse Eisenberg.
for Zombie?
Yeah.
Oh, it is Jesse. Yeah, you're right.
Very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, they both kind of play that typecast type of role. The Evil Dead's though, you have the first one. It's like literally rated like NC-17. I mean, like you got someone that's essentially getting raped by a tree. Wild movie. Second one follows suit, and then the third one just comes out of fucking nowhere, and it goes real heavy into the comedy aspect, and it's insane. It's fun. Way more up my alley than the first 2.
Up your what?
My alley.
You like it?
I'll let you decide which alley that is.
Hey, yo.
Hey.
Number 3, Shaun of the Dead.
No.
Fantastic fucking movie. I still get pumped every time I hear the Queen song where they're in the movie. They're like beating zombies to the beat of is it Killer Queen? Great movie. What's it? Sean Penn and not Sean Penn. Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg, and I don't know what the other guy's name is. The slightly heavier set fellow.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they put out some solid content, some solid movies. Hot Fuzz, great movie. Number 2, scary movie. So you take all the different scary movie tropes. It leans real heavy into Scream. Scream in itself makes fun of one of my favorite moments from scary movies, like right at the beginning, and it's like a racial moment. And it's a bunch of news television people, and they're like reporting on the death of the main character. And then they get to the BET. It's like Black Entertainment TV. We heard white folk dead. We get the fuck out of here. Just love that in that movie. It's good. The rest of them are pretty fantastic as well. But my number 1 by a long shot, and it's been mentioned already twice, is Nightmare Before Christmas. I love me some musicals. I love how that movie has come into what it is. It's a Halloween movie. It's a Christmas movie. You got whole albums of rock bands doing all the songs. I have the covers album.
That's the second one with Korn doing this is Halloween and stuff like
it's
that,
cool. Love that. Love me some Jack Skellington. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it.
I think Patrick was doing that.
I'll go next. My list is pretty quick. I have no honorable mentions. I don't like scary movies. They don't really do anything for me other than they used to scare me, but I don't watch them anymore, so I don't really get scared by them. So
Well, guess what? Pun intended. Get out.
It's a good movie.
That was a good movie.
I heard.
Seen it?
No.
I've read the synopsis.
Number 5 and number 4 are lumped together. I've only seen them probably 1 or 2 times each. And they're older movies, kind of before my time, but I remember seeing them with my parents a time or two. It's Poltergeist and The Exorcist. I don't remember all the details of them, but I remember when I watched them, I was completely fucking terrified, especially, I think, in The Exorcist when, like, the fucking little girl's head is spinning around and, like, she's vomiting, like, green shit out of it. And it's just absolutely fucking nuts.
Special effects for that time were insane.
Yeah.
So the scary movie version of that didn't do it for you when
No, it was the reason that it wasn't scary for me is because it was laughing my ass off at it because it was such a good scene.
She starts pissing on the rug.
Yeah, my number 1, 2, and 3 are all kind of lumped together in that they came out when I was like probably a little kid, and same thing. I would watch them, be immediately terrified, and I couldn't sleep for like a couple days, or I'd sleep with my parents because they were just devastating to me psychologically. Number 3 is Child's Play. Fucking Chucky was terrified of Chucky. Like every doll I would see, I would look at it, I would like feel like a tingle on my arm, like my hair would raise my arm, or what little hair I had as a kid. But either way, you get the point. Just the doll terrified me. I thought every doll would come to life at some point and do some horrendous shit to me.
Should dress as Chucky tomorrow night.
Maybe so. Then I might try to like off myself. I don't know.
It's in the works.
Number 2 is Friday the 13th. Again, it just, as a kid, terrified, scarred, and it just kind of stuck with me, and it kind of solidified me not liking scary movies because I'm like, why would I want to purposely feel like this all the time? Like, I get nothing out of it, and these 3 movies are the exact reason why I don't watch scary movies like that. Number 1 is Nightmare on Elm Street. Fucking Freddy Krueger is absolutely terrifying to me. If you wear a costume as him, I will punch you. Or try to.
Sam did that.
Yeah, I remember that, and I didn't know Sam, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go talk to you. I don't need to do this, but I'm not here for that. And it was just.
I agree with that one. Though, like, not so much Chucky or Jason, but like Freddy Krueger scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I guess the whole premise of like he got you in your dreams. So it's,
Yeah.
That was the thing where it's like you watch that movie and well shit, if I fall asleep, he's gonna get me in my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So it was made you scared.
Definitely a scary
And, like,
concept.
It's not a movie, but it was a TV show that had a very similar kind of effect on me. You remember Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They come on TV.
Robert Stack's voice alone.
Yeah, was it the
Yeah.
voice or was it the music? Which one?
Both.
Probably the voice, but it's close to 50-50.
Report.
Because it'd always be like, some dude like murdered some people and is on the loose. Like it was once they solved the mystery, like they found him, and later on down the road they came back and said it was a solved mystery. Sure, whatever. Like mind, intention, ease. When it was still unsolved, I was like, I'd always think like, am I going to go to bed and is this dude on the run somewhere? He's going to pop up.
At me from the window.
Yeah, is he going to pop up in my house and like use our house as like a place to hide out or whatever? So like, it was the thing. Like, yeah, that TV show had the same kind of effect as those top 3 movies did. Slightly different.
I do like how Robert Stack did the voice of the detective in Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah.
That I bring back the bad memories for you, Patrick.
Not as
Give you a little
much.
PTSD.
Not as much. Showing the closest side.
And it's funny, I'm not like a huge horror movie fan because I do scare easily. Maybe it's because I've been an only child. I've always people can jump scare me very easily. And that's what I hate about horror movies, that the ones that just, like Insidious was one where it was just going, one thing, it was like, it's just like every 5 seconds trying to get you to jump. And like I wanted to throw something at the screen. Like, fucking stop it. Stop doing that. It's like no point, and you have to do it with the music and everything, and it's just like one jump scare after the next. And so, like
The new It movies have a lot of that too.
too bad. It's not like some of these other movies where it's just like purposely, And I'd say my list is more, because of what I said about horror movies, is more of like visually disturbing to me. Like not necessarily blood and gore, but yes, that does add to it. Like not but just unsettling type movies that are more of like slasher or paranormal. I don't know, but anyways, so I'll pass up Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that was my top Disney movie. I mean, of course, that and Hocus Pocus. I watch those every year, and my child loves them.
Hocus Pocus. Overrated.
Keep going.
I mean, I didn't really take to the second one. I think it's been way too long, and they can't redo it. Kind of like how Dumb and Dumber 2 was nowhere near as good as the old one.
True.
I did like the new Beetlejuice. I think they did well with that one.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
New Beetlejuice was surprisingly very good.
Nobody said Beetlejuice.
I don't know, my honorable mention.
Well, that's I was thinking like Beetlejuice. It's like, is it really horror? Yes, I guess it's based on horror, but yeah, that would definitely be. Yeah, true. So it would be on the list. But anyway, I guess the theme of like I immediately thought of these movies because of visually disturbing. That like seeing them younger, seeing them kind of like just stuck with me, and it was just like I can still picture things in these movies. I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this movie ever again because I know it rattled me. And one of them was in ninth grade. I think I watched it. It was on like HBO, one of those, and I'm regretted to this day that I watched it. Was the freaking House on Haunted Hill, just because of the disturbing, like in an old insane asylum, and the people are trapped in there, and they had the one scene that is when the girl's got I think it's like what's her face?
It was a movie I was about to say, and I think Sean will probably have it.
Bridget Wilson. She's got the little video camera, and she like raises it up to like an empty room, and through the video camera, they see like these doctors like operating on somebody, and the person's like alive, and they're like, woo, like you're getting cut up and shit. And then she moves this thing down, and there's nothing there. And then she pulls it back up, and they're starting to like walk towards her, and every time she moves the thing up, and I'm watching this in like ninth grade alone, and I'm like, I'm like, why did I just do this to myself? I'm like terrified after.
I know what happened to Bridget Wilson. She was like an absolute fucking.
She's banging.
She was like a fucking perfect.
Well, yeah,
kid
she's
back
Bridget
in the
Wilson
day.
Samper, so she was like,
What?
But yeah, that movie.
On.
I know it wasn't,
It was one fun piece of face.
it wasn't rated well. Critics. I know it was a remake, whatever. But I just remember in ninth grade, maybe if I watched it today, I'd be like, yeah, it's nothing. But that same with the remake of Hills Have Eyes. I forget when that came out, like 2004, 5. That one again, visually disturbing. Dude getting burned alive, like the dad of the family, and like the creepy creatures that go into the thing. One of them's like, like raping one of the women and like undressing them, and just like the way that they like ravage this family. It's like very disturbing, like parts of that movie. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's tolerable. It's not like I can't watch it, but it was just like, wow, this is pretty intense the way they did this movie. And going back a little further was one I saw in the 90s. That again, one that as a kid I'm just like, why did I put? It's one of those like you can't stop watching it because you're just so drawn to it. And it was more stupid crap that my parents probably shouldn't have let me see on HBO or let me have HBO in my room. Was The Dentist with Corbin Burnson. He was a dentist, and I think they came out.
Roger Dorn?
Yeah, like Dentist 2, Dentist 3. He would torture people in the dentist chair, rip their teeth out. He would cut smiles into their faces and stuff, and they found somebody like dead in the closet. They had this big old Joker smile cut into their face by the dude did it with the scalpel. And it was just, again, seeing visually disturbing, like wow, I can still picture that. It just sticks with you when you see something like that in 1995 or something. And yeah, that one popped in my head randomly. It was probably like, oh yeah, that freaking movie. And then I'm not even going to talk about Human Centipede. I'm going to pass that one up.
Sean plays that every year at his Halloween party.
But before I get to my actual real list that are the ones that are like close to my heart, Last House on the Left. The one they just did with, who's the main guy? Garrett Dillahunt, and I forget who else is in it. The one, it was like, Wes Craven was behind it. I think he did the original. But the remake, Aaron Paul's in it, before Breaking Bad and stuff like that, is people you would know. But that's another one that's just visually disturbing. Like these two girls get lost in the woods or something, and then there's these killers that find them, they rape one of them and stab the other girl in the stomach and watch her bleed out, and it's just like, and you see all this, and it's just like, it's one of those things the parents find out and they get revenge on the killers, and but I think Aaron Paul gets his arm stuck in a garbage disposal, and the dude gets his head put in a microwave and it explodes. It's just like, I remember seeing this in the theater in 2012ish, and it was like, this is the grossest movie I've ever seen. And so, yeah, and then of course there's an unrated version out there. It's like, oh, it gets grosser. So anyway, moving on. I don't even know where I'm at on the list, but on a lighter note, I have to say. Young Frankenstein came out the same year as Blazing Saddles in 1974. That I've seen the play of that. I mean, big Mel Brooks fan. Thank my parents for showing me these classics. Still, Mel Brooks' weird humor. It's it's quotable like Blazing Saddles or any of his older movies. And and just I guess it's horror themed. I thought of that one kind of late, And then when I was saying 3, not signs, but specifically Scary Movie 3. Because I like the first 2, enough, but Scary Movie 3 is when they added Leslie Nielsen. And I remember, I think we saw that in theater, and we were just like cracking up laughing at some of the scenes.
Was that the one that was imitating Sonic?
Yeah, and they had like Jeremy Piven in it, and
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie
Who was
Sheen.
one with David Cross was in the wheelchair? Was that 2?
That was 2.
That was the my germs.
Oh yeah, and Priscilla, take the
Charlie does the land.
I remember. I think we saw it together. When it was like there was reports of an alien sighting, and they showed it, and like shitty looking alien walking. Oh, that's one. Oh, there goes another. And it's like these dudes in little suits walking behind. Like, how stupid it was, just dying at that. And that was the only one I ever owned. I remember I had like, the DVD of Scary Movie 3.
I think we saw the second one in the theater too, and I remember we were all dying laughing when they did they were making fun of like the Nike commercial and all the basketball.
Oh, yeah.
David Cross is in the wheelchair, like spinning.
Just spinning on his head at one point.
That's the one where your boy he gets attacked by the clown on the bed, then
Yeah.
he starts going at the clown.
Sean Wayne. So.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. And when the chick makes the whole like, no, we're not splitting up because I know what always happens, and we always die first or whatever. And they're like, all right, ready? And then it's her and the 2 Wayans are still singled out by everybody else.
Is the third one where she's in the movie theater talking out loud and the black chick and she's like, no, the audience stabs her?
I think that's in the beginning or something like that. She starts out in a movie theater or something with the screen back coming through the movie screen or something like that. So anyway, narrowing down this list, I don't even know where I'm at anymore. I had to put Paranormal Activity on there because, of course, seeing it, I remember making fun of it, acting like it was going to be a joke or whatever, and seeing it in the theater. And then, that was lame or whatever, and then getting home and being like afraid to walk through my house.
as far I'm not going to put that on there obviously because it wasn't like one of my favorite horror movies. But as far as movies that genuinely scared the shit out of me, that was one of them.
Was definitely.
Then they started making like all these other ones that it just wasn't the same. But
it's like
the original one was scary as shit.
It was like we talked about with Nightmare on Elm Street, where the concept is he attacks you in your dreams, so it's like you're scared to fall asleep for that reason. Well, Paranormal Activity, the couple was asleep, and all the shit was happening while they were sleeping. So, and they're catching it all on video. So then you're wondering, like, is this shit gonna happen when I fall asleep?
Well, I think the part that got me the most was I think when I first saw it, it was at your house for like Halloween party, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
But I was living in a condo at that time, and like all this shit happened or started, I think, in the attic in their house, and it was one of those little push-forward attics that you kind of slid, but one that you pulled down. And I had those 2 son of a bitches. I had 2 of those in my. So every time it was in my closet, so I'd look at it every time I got my clothes out. I was like, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, I think like the most not that it was gross visually disturbing was the thing when like the chick would get out of bed and stand there, and then it would fast forward and you would see the time lapse and she's just standing in place. And it's like that's just creepy as hell right there. And then funny how Travis mentioned like Nightmare on Elm Street and the concept of that. The one that always stood out to me that I guess I'd say if I had to name my favorite horror movie because it's one that I go back to if I rarely catch it on, I watch it, is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It was the one where Freddy tormented the people who made the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Like what was the chick, Linda, I forgot her name, the main chick in it, Robert Englund, like Freddy, they were playing themselves. They were supposed to be playing themselves in the movie, and he was terrorizing the filmmakers. I just thought it was, I saw that in the 90s, I think it was like 96 or something when it came out, and always thought that one was well done. Probably better graphics, obviously, than the older Nightmare on Elm Street. I think probably gets graphic in times and stuff like that. But anyway, finally, I have to say the Saw franchise. If I had to pick one, I'd say Saw 3, Director's Cut, which is only on DVD.
That is the one that's one plays at Halloween parties.
Saw 3, Director's Cut, that's one that's definitely visually disturbing because it's like, I don't know why they only have that on DVD, But I remember that it's like the thing. There's like one where the pendulum, like a blade pendulum, is going and cutting the dude in half or whatever.
Mhm.
And the director's cut, it's just like they just keep showing it. They just keep showing it. I'm like, it's like wow. One after it was like in the end when the chick gets her head blasted in, and it's like all these shots that are just like way too long than you ever see in any of the other Saw movies. And it's just like a lot of gore now.
Well, I remember in the theater when I watched that, when her head blows up, I was like, there's no way they're going to actually show that. And sure enough, they did. And I was like, oh, they showed it.
Yeah. I mean, this Terrifier movie might be taking the cake on this. But yeah, it's just like, I couldn't believe watching specifically that one. I think it's only like 40 minutes longer than like the regular version of Saw 3. And it's like, oh, we're going to show you all the crap that we couldn't show you before. And it is gross. So, there you go.
So Saw 3 is your favorite.
If I had to pick one of the franchise, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the first one, obviously, with the twist and everything at the end,
Yeah.
I was definitely surprised didn't see that coming.
All that spooky, gory,
Funny.
bloody, funny,
Money for us.
nightmare-inducing bombshell. Wagons out.
Wagons up.
Wagons out.
Bye, bitches.